Hey there, mathematicians. It's Miss Johnson. Today we're going to be looking at percentage word problems. All right, let's just go ahead and look at number one. It says NRG Stadium has a capacity of 72,220. At the time of kickoff, 60% of the stadium was full. How many fans were in the stadium at kickoff? So it's 60% full at what? At kickoff. So what does this mean? The stadium has a capacity of 72,220. Yeah, that's the total. So this is the total number of seats that can sit fans. Okay, at kickoff it's not full though. It's only what? It's only 60%. Right? So if we look at our bar and we just think a little bit about what our estimate should be, right? We know that 100% is 72,220 and 60% is about right here. All right, so let's figure out 50%. Do you remember how to figure out 50%? Yeah, 50% is just half, right? And unfortunately, I do not know what half of 72,220 is, so I'm going to have to divide it. Okay, so it's going to be 36,110. Okay, so that means, 60% is more than 50%, right? So that means our answer has got to be more than 36,110. Okay, so look at our answer choices. Which ones can we eliminate? Yeah, we can eliminate D because D is not greater than 36,000, right? Is it going to be a lot bigger than 36,000 or just a little bit bigger? Yeah, it's just going to be a little bit bigger. So 64,222 is probably too big. It's probably too big. So we can probably eliminate this one. Okay, but we're just going to leave it just in case. But yeah, it's no way it's going to be 64,000. It's either going to be 53 or 43. All right, so let's give it a try. So you can either use your percent bar or you can use your percent proportion. It is 60%, so using the percent bar, it would probably be okay. I'm going to erase this so that I can have a little bit more room. All right, it shouldn't be too hard to use your percent bar. So I think this is the first time that you ever do your percent bar by yourself. So you just draw a box, right? And you draw a line down the middle. That's your 50% line. And then you draw 4 lines on the left and 4 lines on the right. This is much easier than trying to draw 9 lines. That's just too hard. Okay, so draw your 50% line first and then draw 4 lines on the right and 4 lines on the left. Okay, we already know that 100% is 72,220. And we need to figure out what is 10%. So to do that, if you don't know the shortcut, you're going to have to divide by 10. Okay, and the shortcut is you just take that 0 off. Well, you're actually moving the decimal 1 point place to the left because you're dividing. All right, so that means in each one of these is 7,222. So how many 7,222s am I going to have to write to get to 60%? That's right, 6. This is 60% right here, right? So we have to take 7,000. I'm going to go ahead and shade it. If you're using your bar, you should shade. So this is how many people are in the stadium. That's how many people are in the stadium. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7,222 times 6. 12, 13, 42, 43. So 43,332 fans. So our answer is B. So we were right about C being way too big, right? All right. So if you did the proportion, you would be fans to what? Fans to total. So it's 60% or 60 per 100 equals, and then we know our total capacity is that. I would definitely simplify. You could simplify again to 3/5. But the reason I would have stopped right here is because 10 times, let me use a different color, that stands out more. Because I know that 10 times is going to give me, no, Miss Johnson, that is not the right number. Hang on, let me rewrite that. It's 7,222. Because when I divide 72,220 by 10, take that 0 off. And so I know I'm just going to have to do this. Which is what we did over there, right? And if I did the 3/5, I would have to actually do that division. Okay? But either way, we know our answer is going to be 43,332. Okay? So you can either use your bar or you can use your proportion. Both are going to give you the same answer. All right, let's look at number 2. Juanita started a small business. In the first year, she spent $12,000 for advertising. In the second year, she spent 40% more for advertising than she spent the first year. So we have two questions. We have question A and we have question B. Okay, so question A says, how much more did she spend the second year compared to the first year? How much more did she spend? Okay, so if we look at our estimate, right? 0%, 50%, and 100%. So we know the first year she spent how much? 12,000. Okay, what's half of that? It's half of 12,000, 6,000. If you don't know, go ahead and divide it. All right. And then, so 40%, she said 40%, right? So 40% would be about right here. So that means our answer needs to be less than 6,000, right? Because she spent 40%. Look at your answer choices. Just from doing that estimation, what does our answer have to be? It has to be A. Because it cannot be more than, right? All right, let's just make sure we got it right. Okay, so, well, let's just go through the process because we need to practice, right? We know that's the right answer though. So you draw your percent bar, you do 50%, and then you draw 4 lines on the, I need to draw this bigger, hold on. So you draw your rectangle, you draw your 50% line in the middle, and then 4 lines on the left and 4 lines on the right. We know our 100% is the 12,000. And then we're going to take the 12,000 and divide it by 10 because we have 10 pieces. That's going to give us 1,200. So that means 1,200 will go in each square because that's 10%. But how much did she increase it? Did she increase it 100% or 40%? That's right, 40%. So 10, 20, 30, 40. So there's our 40%, which is 1,200 times 4, 4,800. And then if we did our percent, it would be how much more to the original. So it's 40% more. And then our original amount was 12,000. Okay, so 100 times 120 will give us 12,000. Or, yeah, so times 120. So 120 times 40, 0, 0, 8, 4. Okay, so 4,800. Now, they could have asked us this question, how much more? Or they could have asked us, what's the total amount of money she spent in the second year? So our first step would have been to figure out the 40,800. Our second step would have been to figure out the total amount. Right? So the total amount she would have spent the second year would have been the 12,000 she spent the first year plus the increase that she increased. So she increased 4,800. So we would have to add that together. 16,800, which is D. Okay, so they could ask you just the increase, or they can ask you for the total amount. So if they ask you for the total amount, you have to find the increase first and then add it. Okay? All right, number 3. A store has t-shirts on sale. Buy 2, get the third half price. A t-shirt's regular price is $8. The sales tax rate is 7%. Juan buys 3 shirts. How much sales tax does he pay? All right, well, before we figure out the sales tax that he's going to pay, we have to figure out, okay, how much did he spend on the shirts? Okay, so the first shirt. How much did he spend on the first shirt? Well, it says you buy 2 and you get the third for half price. So the first one you have to pay regular price for, right? So the first shirt is $8. What about the second shirt? The second shirt is also what? $8. Then the third shirt is half price. So what's half of 8? That's right. It's $4. So he goes up to the register. They ring it up. 8, 8, 4. And then what do they do to get how much he owes? They add it together. So 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 4 is 20. So the shirts cost $20. Okay, so now let's look at an estimate. So 100% is the $20. 50% would be half. So 50% would be $10. So 7% would be way down here. Right? That would be 7%. So it's going to be way less than what? Way less than $10. Right? Way less than $10. Okay, so let's figure out how much it would be. Now, we're not going to use the percent bar for this one because 7% is not an easy percent to get on that. We can use it to do an estimate. So like if we go back to the bar over here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we took 20 and we divided it by 10, that would be 2. So in each one of these would be 2. Right? So 10% is $2. So we know that our answer has to be less than $2 because 7% is less than 10%. Okay? All right, so we're going to do the proportion. So we're going to say sales tax to total. So it's 7%. So 7 per 100 equals X over 20. Because 20 is the total and I don't know the sales tax. All right, let's cross multiply. So 100x equals 7 times 20. So 100x equals 140 divided by 100. So 140 divided by 100. 100 can't go into 1. 100 can't go into 14. 100 goes into 140 once. add a decimal, bring down a 0. 100 goes into 400 4 times. Now it's money, right? So we don't do 1.4. If it's money, we do 1.40. So it'll be $1.40 in tax. It doesn't ask us how much he will pay for it altogether. It just asks us how much he'd pay for the sales tax. They could ask us how much he would pay altogether with the sales tax, but they didn't. If they did, we would have to add it to the 20. Right? So make sure that you line up with the decimal. So it's 1.4. So here's going to be 1.4. You can add the 0 if you want. You don't have to put that 0 though. And just like you don't have to put the plus sign, but you can. The positive sign. Okay? All right, so number 4. Oh, where we write about our estimate. Our tax was $1.40. We said it had to be under $2. So it is. Good job. All right, number 4. A used car dealer needed to sell a car. He priced it at $4,500 the first week it was on the lot. The second week, he reduced the price by 5%. What was the price of the car after the reduction? What was the price of the car after the reduction? Okay, so this is going to be 2 steps. Okay, because they don't tell us. He said they reduced it by 5%. So it went down 5%. So once we figure out what 5% is, we're going to have to subtract it. Okay? So when we do our estimate here, this is going to be the estimate on how much it was reduced. Okay? What's reduced mean again? It means to go down. Right? So he priced the car at $4,500. That was the 100%. And so half of that, I do not know what half of that is. $2,450 maybe? Let's see if I'm right. Yep. $2,450. Okay, so that's half. Well, 5% is way, way less than that, right? So we could look at, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could look at our 10%, right? So 4,500 divided by 10 would be 450. So 10% is 450, right? So that means 5% has to be what? Well, it would be half of that, but it would have to be less than 450. Right? Less than $450. Okay? All right. So let me see if I can write this a little neater. This one. All right. So let's set up a proportion. All right. So it's going to be how much it was reduced to the total or original price. So it was reduced 5%. So 5 per 100 equals X over 4,500. So 100 times 45 will give me 4,500. Let me do that in a different color. 100 times 45 will give me 4,500. So whatever I multiply the bottom by, I have to multiply the top by. So 45 times 5. So 225. $225 that it was reduced, which is less than 450, which is what we said in our estimate, right? Now, this is not the answer. The question says, what is the price of the car after the reduction? We wish it was $225, right? But no, that's just how much it's being reduced. That's how much it's going down. So to figure out how much the cost is going to be, we have to do another step, which is to subtract. We have to subtract it because it's being reduced. So the money's coming off. 4 minus 2 is 2. So the new price is going to be $4,275. Make sure when you bubble it that you use the right place value. It's 4,000, right? This is the thousands place. This is the hundreds place. This is the tens place. This is the ones place. Just because there's not a decimal there doesn't mean it's not there, right? It's here. It would be like this if it was money, right? You can put the zeros here if you want. So make sure that you use the correct place value. Okay, you didn't have to bubble in those zeros, but you can. All right. Whoa, what does number 5 have in it? It's got a circle. It's got information in there, right? Doesn't mean it's hard. Doesn't mean it's hard. Don't freak out, okay? It's got a different way to show what they're asking us for. So let's read it and figure it out. It says the diagram below shows the percentages of people attending a football game who were supporters of either the home team or the visitor team. Okay, so visitor team had 20% and home team had 80%. If the total number of people attending the game was 64,000, how many people were supporters of the home team? Okay, so what do they give us? What is 64,000? Yeah, it's the total. That's all the people. And they're asking us for how many people were supporters of the home team. So we go to our graph and we get information about the home team. So the information they give us is that it's 80%. Okay, so when we go to our estimate, %100 is 64,000. Well, half of that is 32,000. Yes, I know. If you didn't know, I know, I can't believe I did that in my head, right? If you don't know, you divide it by 2, and then you'll get your answer. So 80% would be about right here, right? So that means our answer's got to be between 32 and 64, but it's going to be closer to 64. So with that, which ones can we eliminate? We can eliminate A. I really feel like we can eliminate B too, because 38 is really close to 32. And we know our answer's got to be closer to 64. We could probably eliminate 48 too, but that might be pushing it, because 48,000 and 51,000 is not that far apart. Okay? All right, so which way do you want to do it? Do you want to do it with your percent bar, or do you want to do it with your proportion? All right, you choose. I'm going to do it both ways. You choose. Pause the video and do it the way you choose. Okay, so we got our percent bar, draw our 50% line, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my 100% is 64,000. So 64,000 divided by 10 is 6,400. And I need 80%, so I need 60, 70, 80. So I need all the way up to here. Okay. So in each one of those is going to be 6,400. So I'm going to say 6,400 times, how many 6,400s are in that purple shaded? It's 8. 48, 49, 50, 51. Okay, so 51,200 home team fans. Okay, if you did the proportion, it would be home to total. Oh, so messy. Let me rewrite it. Home. Sometimes I just write too fast and it's messy. I'm sorry. All right, so home team is 80%. So 80 over 100 equals, our total they said was 6,400. No, Miss Johnson, 6,400. And I don't know how many are there for the home team. All right, well, 100 times, see, this 2 zeros there, right? There's 2 zeros here, 2 zeros here. So if I don't worry about those 2 zeros, it's just 640. So 100 times 640. So 80 times 640. So X is going to be 80 times 640. Okay, when you multiply with a 0 at the bottom, you just bring it down, and then you say 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 6 is 48. 49, 50, 51. So X is 551,200. Which is what we thought, right? We thought it was going to be 51,200. Okay, it is in our estimate, right? If we put it here, it is closer to the 64,000 than the 32,000. Okay. All right. Is that it? Oh, no. How many questions do we have? Oh, 9. So we've got 4 more questions. Okay, so you really need to start practicing these by yourself before listening to the video, okay, to make sure you got it right. Okay, so I want you to try 6 by yourself. Okay, pause the video, try 6 by yourself, and then check to make sure you got it right. Okay, it says Ashley asked the students in her class, name their favorite foods. 6, prefer pizza. This represents 25%. Oh, remember, this represents is going back and talking about from the question before, the 6, right? So the 25%, so that means I'm missing the total. So the 25% is 6. And I don't know the 100%. That's my question. My question mark. Whoop, that is not a good question mark. Okay, so if I separate my bar into 25%, then this is 6, this is 6, this is 6, and this is 6. So our answer, how many 6s does it take to make the 100? 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. It should be A. Let's check it with the proportion to make sure. So it's going to be pizza to total. So there's 25%, so 25 per 100. And 6 prefer pizza. All right, if we simplify 25 over 100, we simplify by 25. And that's going to give us 1/4. Cross multiply. So X equals 6 times 4. Just do that. So X equals 24. 24. So this estimate we kind of cheated, right? We kind of just did the percent bar in the estimate. Yeah, that's okay. All right, number 7. Pause it, okay? Try it by yourself. All right, so Penny earned 6% commission. You don't have to know what commission is to get the answer right, okay? She earned 6% commission on the sale of the property she helped sell. What is her commission? So you're looking for this 6%. You see that? 6% commission. What's Penny's commission? All right, so that's the same thing you're looking for. and on a house that sells for $75,000. Okay, so the $75,000 is going to be the total. That's our 100%. And she's only getting 6%. So 6% is super tiny, right? It's just this little part right here. So it's going to be a very small amount. So which one of those answer choices can we eliminate? Which one is not a small amount? That's right, A. A can absolutely not be the answer. It's way too big. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and set up our proportion. So it's commission to total. So it's 6%. So 6 per 100 equals X over 75,000. Okay, so, right? So 2 zeros, right? So 1 times 750. So 100 times 750 will give us, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So X is going to equal 6 times 750. And 42, 43, 44, 45. So X is 4,500. Oh, you see, we might have gotten confused if we hadn't thought about our reasonableness, right? Because all they did for A was just add an extra 0, right? So we might have gotten confused when we looked at it, but because we eliminated, because we know it couldn't be that, because that's way too big, we were able to not get confused. Don't you love it when that happens? Me too. All right, so pause the video. Try number 8 by yourself. All right, so 20% are teenagers. The number of teenagers at the concert was 360. Okay, so remember, if you got the percent and the number that they give you are talking about the same thing, that means you're going to be missing your total. Oh, look at that. What is the total number? Okay, so we don't know the total number, but we do know that 20%, so 20% is about right here, right? So 20% is 360. Okay, so our 100%, it's going to be way more than 360, right? All right, so let's set up our proportion. Well, actually, we could do the bar because it is 20%. So let's put our 50 and then 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10%, 20%. So this is our, right? That equals 360. So how much would be in each piece? How many pieces does it take up? It takes up 2. So we're going to say 360 divided by 2. It's going to be 180, I believe. Let me check it. Yep. Okay, so it would be 180. So 10% is 180, right? 180 plus 180 equals 360. We know that 360 is to 20%. So that means each one of these will be 180. So how do we get the total? How do we get the 100%? Well, how many 180s are there? That's right, there's 10. Okay, so 1,800 total. So 1,800 total. Make sure you line up your, not line up your decimals, but remember your place value. Remember your place value. Okay, if you did the proportion, it would have been teenagers to what? To total. You know what? Let me use a different color. Use green. So it would have been teenagers to total. So it would be 20% or 20 per 100 equals 360 over X. If we simplified 20 over 100, we would get 1/5, right, by dividing by 20. Equals Right, and if we cross multiply, x will be 360 times 5. $15, $16, $17, $18. $1,800. Okay, so we get the same thing. All right, last one to try by yourself. All right, I know you can do this. Pause it, see what you get for your answer. Okay, they won 75% of the games they played. The team won, look, 1-1. So that means we're going to be missing the total. What's the total number of games? So 75%. So when I come over here and I think about this, right? This is, right? Think quarters, right? 25, 50, 75, 100, right? So that means all of this is what they won, which is 108. So we could take 108. How many of those things is there? 1, 2, 3, right? So take your 108 divided by 3, because there's 3 pieces, right? So that would mean that in each piece is 36. So that means in the last piece would be 36 too. So to get our total, we would say 36 times what? Times 4. There's 4 36s, right? In the total, in the 100%. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 12, 13, 14. So our total would be 144. All right, so our proportion, it would have been 1 to total. So 75% or 75 per 100 equals 108 over x. You know I'm going to simplify. So that's going to be 3/4. There we go. Cross multiply. So 3x equals 108 times 4. So 108 times 4 is 432. 3 times what gives me 432? I don't know, so I'm going to divide. Miss Johnson. My mind got distracted. What happens when your mind gets distracted? 3 goes into 13 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. And then 4 times 3 is 12. So 144 games. D. Oh, we could have eliminated A, right? Because the number of total games is not going to be less than. It's going to have to be more than 108. So we could have definitely eliminated A. Okay, you guys. So I know this is new. All right. You're always going to be missing. Always, when you look at these, always look for what you're missing first. Are you missing your percent? Are you missing your part? Or are you missing your whole, your total? Okay, once you figure that out, you can kind of use your bar or use your proportion to help you get the answer. Okay, this is just going to take practice. Okay, keep practicing. Keep working hard. Make sure you show your work, and I know you're going to get this.